Hello and welcome to Dundonald in Northern Ireland for this year's IAAF International Cross Country Meet. A huge international field taking place on what's a rather blustery and grey day here, but we're not going to worry about that because the field contains the likes of Kenya's Paul Tanui, a runner-up, a silver medalist to Mo Farah in the 10,000 metres at the Rio 2016 Olympics. He goes as the favourite in the men's section. Now his compatriot Pauline Kamalu goes as the favourite in the women's race. She was the fastest over 10,000 metres last year, but she's going to face some stiff competition. The Brits led by Gemma Steele, who was a runner-up in 2012. Now she was a runner-up to a twice winner that year, Fionnuala McCormack, who also won in 2013. She's continuing her comeback after giving birth for the first time last year. It's a high quality field, so let's get to all the commentary action. Dick Hooper and first of all, Will Downing.
And this is what our new course in Dundonald looks like. It's exactly 2K. A lot of it is uphill and the organisers are excited.
I know this has been something that I know that our council, Lisbon and Castlereagh City Council, our staff, and I know other athletes in our city have been looking forward to for some time. There's been a lot of planning put into this. As with Athletics and I partner with ourselves, we're delighted that this event, we hope, will be just one of many events coming to the Ballini NBA here Centre. But it's a great opportunity for the council just to show off our sporting excellence and to show off what we can offer in the field of athletics.
Gemma Steele, one of 4 European cross-country champions competing at the Women's International in Dundonald. The others being Emilia Goretzka, 6 times European champion at junior level, Kate Avery, who's won team gold, and Fionnuala McCormack, who's been a twice champion here. Meskera Mamo and Howie Facer representing Ethiopia will be 2 difficult 19-year-olds to beat perhaps, Pauline Kamalu and Sandofelis Chebet Chui representing Kenya. Kate Malby for Midlands, wearing 51, Charlotte Taylor-Green, who competes from 400 metres up to the 3,000 steeplechase. That's Mamo, Facer, Kamula, Chebet, reading from right to left. Decent Irish team here as well, and for Northern Ireland, the likes of Nikita Burke and Breege Connolly. Fionnuala McCormack popping up here, her first race in a year. Welcome back after giving birth to young Isla in October. And Fionnuala McCormack has won this race twice, on both occasions a few weeks after winning the European title. First in Volenia, December 2011, and then the following year in Budapest. And the first of those, she beat Gemma Steele, who's here again today. It's the 2 Ethiopians and 2 Kenyans making their way out towards the front straight away. Meskera Mamo wearing 17, the African junior champion for 2017 and the African bronze medalist of the senior championships last year. Number 18, Howie Facer for Ethiopia, World Junior Championship silver medalist in the under-20s in Kampala 2 years ago. Pauline Kamalu wearing 16. She had that fastest 10,000 metres in the world last year. World Half Marathon bronze medalist in Valencia a couple of months ago, silver in the team. And her fellow Kenyan, Sandofelis Chebet Chui, she is wearing 15, tucked in on the left-hand side of your picture. Well, Kamalu's there now, as she's been 11th in the World Cross Country Championships. And Fionnuala McCormack leading the best of the rest. That might just be the story of the day. Quite strong Scottish representation. Michelle Sanderson wearing 57 there. They're up over the hill, and it's Ethiopia and Kenya filling the first 4 places, and then it's Fionnuala McCormack.
Great to see Fionnuala back. Congratulations to her on her little baby. And very often after the birth of a child, a woman runner comes back stronger than ever, and it's interesting to see how she goes today, but not overly important. The important thing is that whatever happens today, that she can build on it again. So she's up there in true competitive Fionnuala style. She's up there mixing it, probably in the top 10 there at the moment, and hopefully it goes well for her. But there's a very strong African quartet there. 2 young junior ladies. The Ethiopians are both juniors, Mamo and Facer, and then the Kenyans, Kamulu and Chebet, are young, look young as well. And a very strong English contingent in there, Will. You got to recognise that the likes of Claire Duck, Gemma Steele, Goretzka, they've been around a while. They've been very successful. Avery as well, loads of medals in European championships for England, and England, when they go to the European cross-country championships, they just clean up with the medals, and it's the likes of those girls who are the backbone of their team. But the 4 African girls have really put it down to the field there. You can see that there's quite a gap already, and considering that we're still on the first lap, it almost looks like 2 races. There's Fionnuala in 5th place. So Fionnuala, the old competitive spirit hasn't gone away yet. Ahead of Gemma Steele, an old rival of hers. Laura Shaughnessy gone through there for Ireland, and then of course the Celtic International with the under 23 races is going on in there as well. Scotland, Northern Ireland, Wales and Ireland. We have the 4 Africans now taking that, just this sharp little climb up there, but that's enough to break a field. As you can see there's one nearly dropped as a result of that. A change in cadence like that can be a shock at any stage during a race. And obviously that Kenyan girl got caught by that there.
Fionnuala McCormick leading out, the best of the rest in 5th position. It does look as if Sandra Fellis Chebet-Tui might have been dropped back quite a bit into 4th place. Gemma Steele, European cross-country champion in Somokov in Bulgaria in 2014 when Kate Avery was the silver medalist. But leading here deep into the second lap of 4. Here is Pauline Kamalu of Kenya, who had the individual bronze and team silver at the World Half Marathon Championships of Valencia. Nobody was faster over 10,000 metres than her last year. But Faisa lying in 3rd position, and Mamu in 2nd. She had the World Under 20 leads last year over 3,000 and 5,000, but she did not compete in Tampere at the World Junior Championships, the World Under 20s. McCormick there wearing 21, and alongside her Mari McLennan of Scotland, who won the Scottish title in Stirling last week. Emily Hosker moving up as well. She finished 8th in Stirling in that big international race, which was competed for in Edinburgh for very many years, but then moved across country for this January.
It's always interesting to look at a battle between Kenya and Ethiopia. They're the classic rivals. If you talk about old firm derbies in soccer or whatever, well, the classic old firm derby in running is Kenya versus Ethiopia. And you may be sure that the Kenyan girl out there, Kamulu, is going to get absolutely zero help from Memo and Faisa. They'll be totally happy to be towed around by her. Her colleague has dropped back now, so she's on her own. She's kind of stuck out there. She's committed to herself to the front. She looks to me to be running very hard. So you can just see, I'm not saying she's not going to win the race. There's every chance she will win the race, but if she's to win it, she's going to win it the hard way. Now she is pushing on very hard, and the girls are having trouble staying with her, but they are not going to help her.
Yes, Sandra Fellis Chebet-Tui down in 4th place for Kenya here. 11th 2 years ago in the World Cross Country Championships, and of course Denmark is hosting it in a couple of months' time. Now moving up into 5th position alongside Fionnuala McCormick is Emily Hosker Thornhill of England, the 26-year-old, very successful in the track last year. Louise Small on the right for England, and Amelia Goretzka alongside her wearing 19. A very, very successful career in the cross-country circuit. Silver in Tallinn in the 5,000 metres at the European Junior Championships in 2011. Bronze in the World Cross Country Championships in 2013. But there's 3 way out ahead of the rest, and it's Pauline Kamalu leading them out. Howie Faisa in 2nd, Mesker and Mamo in 3rd, Kenya 1st, Ethiopia 2nd, Ethiopia 3rd, and Kenya 4th. Chebet-Tui quite a bit behind the rest. Fionnuala McCormick still there in the chasing group of 5.
I think Fionnuala will relish that competition in the group that she's in with there, with Hosker Thornhill and the Scottish girl McLennan, because she's getting a good level of competition. She obviously doesn't feel or is not able to go up with the Africans, and normally Fionnuala is one of those people who would have every right to be up there competing with the Africans, but on her first race back you couldn't expect her to be up there yet. But so she's got a lovely level of competition in there, back there in that group, and she'll be relishing that, because that's what she thrives on. She loves that kind of cut and thrust and making your move and trying to break and fighting back and all the stuff that's connected with cross country. Kamulu still out in front and still getting no help, and that's the story of her race, I think.
Well, the top 3 have not changed position. We're in the penultimate lap now. Chebet-Tui way back in 4th position, and Emily Hosker Thornhill now of Aldershot Ferryman District with a potential of maybe chasing her down. Currently in 5th position is Hosker Thornhill, and in 6th Mari McLennan for Scotland, the Scottish 10k champion as well. On her shoulder, Kate Avery, the European cross-country silver medalist 2014, and 2015 with team goals coming during that time as well. That hill has been very well conquered by these three. Kamalu, Mamo and Faisa in that order.
And the two Ethiopian girls are determined not to stick their noses in front until it comes to the crunch. They're going to leave Kamalu there. I suspect they've a little bit more running in them than her, and so following nature they should have just flowed down that hill, but no, they're going to stay behind her, let her do all the work. Now that's out of total respect for her as well, because she is running them hard, and there's a little gap there that would almost suggest it's like an elastic band. If she could just stretch it a little bit longer, she may get away, but they're not letting go. They're going to work to get her to work to stay in touch with her, and she's running really hard. You can see that.
Well, the Greenman course in Antrim, where this race was for 10 years, having been in Mollusk and famously Stormont for many years before that, had that lovely wooded section, the forest section right at the back of the course, but it was quite a flat course. This is a lot more testing. Oscar Thornhill is doing her best to reel in Sandra Fellis-Chebet-Tui and take fourth position.
Yeah, she will be encouraged by what she sees. Chebet-Tui seems to be coming back to her, but the group immediately behind Oscar Hill and Fionnuala is still in there, isn't out of touch either, so anything could happen between sort of fourth and eighth there.
Oscar Thornhill is coached by Mick Woods, Aldershot St Mary's University as well. But these three have impressed in this exact order all the way through. Pauline Kamalu, with the two Ethiopians behind her, has done all the running here. Her Kenyan teammate Sandra Fellis-Chebet-Tui has found herself quite a bit behind the final lap. Oscar Thornhill is putting in a very impressive performance here in fifth position for England, with McLennan in sixth, Kate Avery up there, Fionnuala McCormick in eighth right now. Bit of a gap back to ninth. Here's Claire Duck, who finished sixth in Antrim 2 years ago, and Gemma Steele, who finished second here in Antrim, finished second in the Europeans behind Fionnuala McCormick, but who did win the European title. And there's Laurie Hanbury of Rotherham Harriers 112 passing by. So will we have major momentum between these three? It's amazing how Pauline Kamalu hasn't been challenged by either of these two, but they're biding their time, waiting for the chance to pounce.
I think we're in for one hell of a finish here. Those two Ethiopian girls now, they're just poised there behind Kamalu. Kamalu has to take a little bit of a break without putting on the brakes, because she has to be ready for what's going to come from behind and see can she respond at all when the sprint comes, because it looks inevitable that it's going to come down to a sprint.
Not reading anything into it, Kamalu is the oldest of the three lead athletes. She's only 24 though, the other two are 19. But they have been very happy to allow her to do all the legwork up front. And she has done it all. In the vest immediately behind, in the green, Howie Faisa in second position, and Meskera Mamo has been third pretty much throughout. Kenya 1, Ethiopia 2, Ethiopia 3, as they tackle the hill for the final time. Way back and forth, Sandra Fellis-Chebet-Tui.
And Oscar Hill, still that kind of frustrating gap. She doesn't seem to be able to finally pull in Chebet-Tui, and she would be aware too that there's the girls behind are working as a group. The three of them back there, and Fionnuala McCormick is in that group. Now Fionnuala is up to seventh now, isn't she? And coming strongly. She'll get sixth, it looks like. She has that bit between her teeth there, running strongly. I suspect she could take number 34 there.
Alongside Mary McLennan, the Scottish champion, Kate Avery was keeping them company too. Pauline Kamalu still can't shake off the two Ethiopian athletes on either side, on either shoulder.
All three will be thinking about the step hill that's to come here. The step hill will tell us a little bit. I suspect that after that then one of the Ethiopians is going to make a move. The Ethiopian friendship now will start to go out the window, because they want to make sure that each one wants to win the race. They've helped each other to stay in touch and frustrate Kamalu by making her do all the leading. And now they're getting around to the selfish stage of the race where, you know, whoever wants it the most wins it. Kamalu is really putting it up to them. She's run a fantastic race. Regardless of the result, I think Kamalu is the one who has made this race.
Sandra Fellis, Chebet Tui still in 4th place, just ahead of Emily Hosker Thornhill, who won the Telford 10K at Christmas time. Mari McLennan in 8th position at the moment. But here is the final ascent. Still leading them through is Pauline Kamalu, ahead of Howie Facer in 2nd. Meskera Mamo is back in 3rd, and there's a bit of a gap developing between the top 2 and Mamo back in 3rd position. It's Kamalu who leads, Facer in 2nd place, and now look at Mamo go! Oh, look at this, she's gone from 3rd to 1st. Oh, what an attack at the right time. Mamo against Facer, Mamo leading them out. What a sprint this is, and Mamo takes it. Meskera Mamo wins for Ethiopia, ahead of Howie Facer, her compatriot, and Pauline Kamalu led virtually the entire race, and she takes 3rd. What an extraordinary finish.
Well, we wrote the script on that one. Kamalu set it up. The two ladies fell out of friendship and they fought out the finish, and we got the Ethiopian one too. But I have to admire, I thought Kamalu was magnificent there. She really made an honest effort to win that race.
Well, Mamo's legs look to have gone as well after she's taken the victory. Sandra Fellis, Chebet Tui will take 4th place for Kenya. They had the win last year through Margaret Chalimo, Kep Kemboy, and the year before through Caroline Kepkoech Kipkurui. 4th then for Chebet Tui, and it will be 5th for Emily Hosker Thornhill. She'll take the British Cross Challenge too. And Fionnuala McCormick, who's won this race twice, comes through in 6th place for Ireland, her first race in a year. Kate Avery, 7th, Mari McLennan in 8th. And Claire Duck coming round the corner is going to take 9th position. She finished 10th in the Cork City Sports last year, 6th and 9th in her 2 previous Antrim cross countries. And Gemma Steele is 10th.
Yeah, interesting, just coming around that corner, I think Gemma lost a shoe, but Gemma will probably be a little bit disappointed with that run there back in 10th. You would have expected a little bit better from her. Maybe she's had some injury problems, but very, very encouraging to see Fionnuala McCormick back, and I suspect there's far more to come from her now in the months ahead. And what a great race there. You have to hand it to Kamalu for setting it up, and the two young, they are juniors, we cannot forget, Ethiopian girls. What a conveyor belt that country has.
One of this illustrious race's greatest ever finishes. An Ethiopian 1-2 with Meskera Mamo pipping Howie Facer on the line. Kenya 3rd and 4th, Thornhill 5th, Fionnuala McCormick 6th.
Fionnuala, then welcome back. How did it feel to be out there and running again?
Yeah, it was enjoyable. Like the first half I was a bit scared, and the second half I probably enjoyed it a bit more. It's nice to come back to a real cross-country race, hills, muck, and nice enough weather as well, so there's nothing you can really complain about.
Do you realise, though, when you're running those type of races, that training just doesn't cut it? You need to be running more and more to be up there. It's very difficult.
Yeah, and like first race back, it's always hard to know where you are, and like you just have to run, like, and hurt, I suppose, and hopefully each race brings you on, training brings you on, and like move on from here, I suppose, yeah.
World Cross Country Championships this year, it's probably a little bit too early for that, and looking ahead to the future, what are the plans? Yeah,
like I don't really have any plans yet. Like I think this is probably the longest time since I was about 12 that I haven't raced for, so I didn't really know. Today was just get out and run and see what happens, and then make a plan from here, really. So.
But you've got the positivity that you want to be running for a long time to come.
Yeah, I don't think I can give up. I'm addicted to running, really, and like I love cross country as well. So I suppose that was why it was nice to start back here.
Yeah, I found it quite like a good home turf to run on. I think it was pretty similar to what we have for our nationals. So yeah, it reminded me a little bit of Sunderland back in 2013. So yeah, I really enjoyed it. Felt at home here on the undulations. But unfortunately, I just lost my shoe on the last sprint finish, sprinting in with my England teammate Claire Duck, who was running for England. Obviously, I wasn't. But yeah, it was a good race and neck and neck all the way. So getting that competitive edge back.
A couple of 10K victories last year. So form-wise, things have been going pretty well. Then you're looking ahead this year. What are your goals that you set for this season?
I think hopefully, I'm not sure that I'll be aiming for the World Cross yet. But whether they'll take a team, it's all quite not set in stone at the minute. So yeah, other than that, it might be the big half marathon is on the same day as our trials. So just got to sit back and review and see where I'm at the minute, which I've come back off I didn't qualify for Eurocross last year, so to be not too far behind the girls was a bit of a turnaround for me going into the new year. So yeah.
Is it difficult though when you have a few setbacks to try and then refocus and reset your goals?
Yeah, because you sort of like lose your lot of confidence, and you have to go back to square one almost and start from scratch and think, you know where you've been before, but you've just got to reset your goals and be a bit more, put it into perspective a little bit more, and yeah.
When you came into this race today, considering that some of the runners you had out in front, the Kenyans and Ethiopians, they really set a quick pace. What was your goal when you came into this one?
I think just to try and get around without my shoes coming off, first and foremost. And then just to get as close as I could to my England teammates, really, and Kate Avery and the girls, Amelia, who I beat today, and Claire Dork, who I hung on to most of the race, just till the sprint finish at the end. And then, just to get as close as I could to them. But I got off to a bit of a slow start, so yeah.
Was there any talk before the race of maybe trying to work as a team and trying to get yourselves through and further up there, or was it just a case of go out there and individually do your best?
Well, I wasn't running for England today. I was just running for individually, so a bit of a wild card today actually. So that didn't give me a lot of confidence because I didn't have the team camaraderie that the other girls had, the England team. But I still felt like I was running for England in a way, but I sort of wanted to put a mark down to see how close I could get to them, because
It's nice to see Fionnuala back running as well.
Oh yeah, definitely. I'm my old rival there. It's good to see her back, and I was quite surprised I could see her for quite a way of the way round. But she's just had a baby not long ago, so to see her back is really good, and it gives me a lot of inspiration as well.
Strength and depth for England and Britain in the senior race. Similar in the junior and under-17 combined race. The two age groups are in together, making it quite a strong field. And we always see some great up-and-coming talents here. Today should be no exception. So underway in the girls, the women's under-20 and under-17 combined race. It is a very large field here. And moving up impressively straight away is Anna Headley of Scotland. She's an under-17 runner, but she's out in front immediately after the gun. And whether she can stay there or not, that will be quite the challenge. But look at the lead she's opened up. I'm very, very impressed by this. She's also a triathlete. She's got the strength. She won in Stirling last week in the underage categories. And Anna Headley might be a name we'll be hearing a lot of in the future, because there's also a Northern Ireland athlete from the city of Lisburn who's a couple of age categories down from her. Scottish champion at under-17. She's the East of Scotland district champion as well, and is the under-17 athlete leading all the under-20s right now by a long way. It looks like Grace Brock is up in second place, and she is leading the under-20 competition at the moment, representing England from Cornwall AC. But it's a big field here, Dick.
Oh, it's a very big field, and some say it may be a bit unfair to throw the under-17s in with the under-20s, but when the under-17s are good enough, they can get marvellous competition out of it. And when we've got a leader here now in Anna Headley, who's under-17, who's really putting it up to the older girls, she may have gone off that little bit too fast, because it's a very aggressive start. She's working really hard, and Grace has the look of somebody who expects to dominate this race. Grace has very good pedigree herself, and look at her attack the race. Lovely, beautiful part of the course, just past the lake, up the hill, and now heading for the greener pastures inside on the course. But Grace Brock, there's a beautiful picture down by the lake, showing off this wonderful Billy Neal Centre to its height. I'm sure if he were around today, he'd be very proud and very happy at what he sees there.
Grace Brock putting in a wonderful performance from Cornwall AC. She finished 7th in Stirling last year. Little look behind as she goes up the hill. Amelia Samuels of Midland is beginning to breach the gap here, as she won in El Gabar in Spain in the Basque Country last week at the One Muguerza cross-country event. Charlotte Alexander for the England under-20s. Anna Headley we've already seen come through, and 8:06 is Kate O'Neill for England, along with Scotland's Zoe Flug.
And I just saw Grace Carson of Northern Ireland going through there. She's well up. But here comes Grace Brox now, bracing the hill, and she'll let herself flow down. Amelia Samuels well clear in second. It looks like a fairly decisive race, this one, probably the most decisive of the day. Front running at its best. Grace Brock looks totally comfortable out there. Amelia is very, very comfortable as well. And then in third place, our friend Anna Headley, the under-17 girl who went off so hard, but she's consolidated there in third place. She's the first under-17. It's a very fine performance by her, and a plethora of English vests looking to reel her in.
Yeah, Maya Todd McIntyre, Charlotte Alexander, Kate O'Neill, all moving up for England. Pretty much their entire team in the under-20s are in the top 10 here. So they look like they're going to take the team prize. Grace Brock, the South of England cross-country champion. She won last year in Seville in the big cross-country race there. She was 11th in the juniors in the European cross-country championships in Tilburg, and she is, I suppose, of course, the Cornwall Schools champion.
And Anna Headley, she's hanging in there great. Her background triathlon, but she's a very fine runner. Maybe the running is the best part of her triathlon.
Here's Zoe Pflug, who's currently 7th overall in the race and 6th in the under-20s. Charlotte Alexander, and wearing 602, Ava White of Blackheath and Bromley Harriers. She's an under-17 athlete. But there's absolutely no living with Grace Brock today. She's led largely from the start, certainly in the under-20 race, the IAAF Junior. She's going to take gold in that. Also the home country's international. So she'll be leaving with quite a few medals today. She's been excellent. But here she comes. Grace by name, Grace by nature. Grace Brock is going to take the under-20 title here by a long way.
That's the biggest gap we've seen today. Probably about 10-12 seconds on Amelia Samuels. A very, very solid run by Amelia. She never ever looked under pressure for saving that second place. And let's see now, can Anna Headley hang on in third place, because it was she that was experiencing a bit of pressure from behind. But no, she's well clear as well. That's a brilliant run by her. First under-17 of the day.
Well, she's the third past the line. She takes the under-17 title, Anna Headley. Wins the Celtic International, takes the home countries. Maya Todd McIntyre will be third in the under-20 competition for England, ahead of Ciara Gamble of Scotland, who's fourth in the under-20s. Next will be Charlotte Alexander for England, just in ahead of Zoe Pflug for Scotland and Grace Carson for Northern Ireland. These are all under-20s. Kate O'Neill next over the line, 8th in the under-20s for England, and Samia Jones for Wales, 2nd in the under-17s. Mia McColmont next for Northern Ireland, she's under-20, and Ava White of Blackheath and Bromley Harriers takes bronze in the under-17, ahead of Nasa O'Reilly for Ireland, 4th in the under-17s. Just crossing the line, ahead of her under-20 international teammate Laura Nicholson. Grace Brock takes under-20 gold for England, second to Amelia Samuels of Midlands of England, and Maya Todd McIntyre with the bronze for England. The Celtic International gold going to Ciara Gamble of Scotland, ahead of her teammate Zoe Pflug, with Northern Ireland's Grace Carson the bronze. Tremendous successes for Anna Headley, winning the under-17 title for Scotland. Samia Jones second, Ava White of Blackheath and Bromley third. Headley taking gold in the Celtic International as well, Jones the silver, and Nessa Riley of Ireland the bronze. Brock, very impressive, winning margin of 13 seconds to win the IAAF Junior Women's title. Anna Headley winning by half a minute over Samia Jones.
Grace, congratulations on the win. Your first time racing in Ireland. How did you find this course?
I thought the course was really good fun. It had a really nice mix of hills and then flatter sections, and it was muddy but not too much. So yeah, really nice conditions for cross-country racing.
Many of the teams try and run as a team. What was the plan of the English team before you went out?
I don't think we had a set race plan as such. I think we all talked before and we kind of like pumped each other up to race, but yeah, I think we mainly had our own individual plans, so yeah.
So the cross-country season now obviously coming to an end soon. What are your plans for the rest of this season or the rest of the year?
So my main target will be the World Trials in UK Intercounties, and that's on the 9th of March, I believe. So yeah, hoping to qualify for the World Cross Country. That's a big goal, but I'm also racing the Southerns next week, and then the Nationals and probably the English schools as well. So, yeah.
If you're looking at future career progression later down the track, what are your main goals in the future as an athlete?
I think I'd just love to make a senior GB team. Going to the Olympics, that would be amazing. I think that's every young athlete's goal, but just taking little steps each season to hopefully get there one day.
And do you have a preference to running on the track or whether it be cross country?
I enjoy both. Probably slightly prefer cross country, but I think once I start doing longer distances on the track, I'll also enjoy that. So.
I think it went really well. One of my best races probably of the season. I wasn't expecting to do that well. I'm really happy. Yeah.
It's not a bad day for cross-country running, in fact. Normally up here we might have a bit of a wind or even snow, but today's quite good.
Yeah, it's really nice because a couple of years ago it was snowing, but harder the better, to be honest. Yeah, I really liked it. It was good weather, yeah.
The cross-country season obviously crosses through the Christmas period and so forth. How do you find it with training when it comes to over that period?
Well, Christmas comes second, to be honest. It's just training hard as you can, just keep going, keep motivated for the rest of the season that's coming up.
And what are your plans? You talk about the rest of the season. What are your plans for the rest of this year?
Just to get selected for things like SIAB in Nottingham and London Mini Marathon as well, yeah.
The Olympic 10,000 metres silver medalist Paul Tanui of Kenya, silver in the World Cross Country Championships in 2011, part of a very strong men's field in Dundonald as the Northern Ireland International Cross Country moves from Antrim. Richard Yeter of Kenya, Chalabeo of Ethiopia, and Berhanu Balu of Bahrain, formerly of Ethiopia, making up a very strong African-born quartet that the rest have to deal with. Paul Tanui wearing 9, Balu 11, joined by Richard Yeter wearing 10, and Chalabeo is 12. In the field alongside, wearing 4, Declan Reid, representing Northern Ireland and Ulster. And a smile from Sam Stabler of Leicester, who will be looking to go high in the cross challenge today. Number 1, Adam Kirk-Smith, 3, Conor Duffy. Irish contingent here, Mick Dooney, Liam Brady. It would have been a little bit bigger, but Mick Clossey and Kevin Dooney not here. And wearing 13 in the Barcelona singlet might be interesting, Ibrahim Ezzadouni of Morocco. So away we go then in Dundonald for the first time, underway at the Billy Neal Soccer Centre of Excellence for the 2019 IAAF Northern Ireland International Cross Country, and Irish athletes to the fore straight away, alongside the 4 representing Kenya, Ethiopia and Bahrain. It'll be interesting to see how they fare as the race goes on, and it's an interesting course, as we've seen from the women's and the junior races that have been held already today. But it's a lovely course, as you'll be seeing 2,000 metres and quite a sharp rise very early on in the East Belfast countryside.
Beautiful course here down by the lake. There's lovely variety in it, nice hills undulating around the parkland, taking in the pitches here in the Billy Neal Centre. Billy, a man who played for Glentoran over 450 times and a legend in this neck of the woods, obviously. Within this race there's a series of races. There's a Celtic International for under 23 runners, hence the younger looking Irish vests there. The Celtic International between Scotland, Northern Ireland, Ireland and Wales, and of course the senior race being the main part of it. And those 4 Africans we would expect to move to the head of things pretty sharply. But very encouragingly, Mark Mckinstry from North Belfast Harriers, running for Northern Ireland today, is been nice and bulgy out there. He's taking it out and he's looking good, and Mark has been running very well lately. He ran a personal best for 5 miles there on St. Stephen's Day, and he's great form lately. Hails from Ballymena originally.
Yeah, and Mckinstry is up there right at the front of affairs, wearing number 2. And the men he's jousting with, Berhanu Balu, the Asian Games 5,000 metres champion, wearing 11.9. Paul Tanui with those 2 global silver medals in his career. Richard Yeter, the World Junior champion over 3,000 metres in 2015. He's wearing 10. And Chalabeo of Ethiopia, the African champion over the 3,000 metre steeplechase in 2016. But just look at how well Mckinstry, the International Masters champion, is going, living in Belfast now with North Belfast Harriers, and going very strongly. The last Irish winner of this was back in 1983, that was Dave Taylor. The last Irish medalist, Cormac Finnerty, third in 1996. But we won't be mentioning statistics like that too early on in a race like this. But Mckinstry going very comfortably at the moment alongside the 4 African-born contingent. And also up there going well is Sam Stabler of Leicester in the blue, and down goes Mckinstry. Oh, that's extraordinary. Right at the end of the opening lap, he slipped. It's a very muddy course. It's well worn. We've had a whole series of races on the course all day, and Mckinstry has gone down, and that was so unfortunate. He's fighting to get back up. He's down around 10th at the moment. It leaves Balu, Yater, Bayo and Tanui leading the way right now. Berhanu Balu, the 22-year-old from Bahrain, is out in front, but that's so unfortunate for Mark Mckinstry.
Yeah, the important thing for Mark now is to pull himself together and try and put that behind him. It was a bit of a shocker, that fall, and it certainly took the wind out of him. Very, very unfortunate, especially when he was actually getting a bit of a gap on the rest of the field with the Africans. But he's back in there now. He's fighting. He's a tough one. The strong English contingent moving up there. Hulson, Tooten, Gray and Hickey, they're good lads too. Perhaps not household names, but they are England internationals, and they're fine cross-country runners. But we have a lead group there comprising, not surprisingly, of Belu, Yator, Bayo, Tanui, and the infiltrator there is Samuel Stabler, who's running as an individual. As you say, Will, he's from Leicester, runs for Reek and Soar Valley AC, so fair play to him. He's up there mixing it.
He's actually won in Ireland and in Northern Ireland before, Sam Stabler. He took the title in Armagh last year in the major international road race there, and another man who's also in the top 10 at the moment, Charlie Hulson, won that race back in 2016. But passing through, wearing 39 for Wales, Abed Tawil Bran. Stabler being dropped. It's Balu for Bahrain, Tanui and Yater for Kenya, Bayo for Ethiopia, and they're clear by around 30 or 40 metres at the moment. This is the descent from that big hill right at the back of the course. Once they pass the lake, they start going uphill quite sharply. The men have to do it 5 times. Paul Tanui taking it up at the front of affairs, but Sam Stabler hasn't been fully dropped yet, and then you can see quite a lot of English vests. Alex Tewton, Jack Gray, Phil Norman, Adam Hickey, they're pacing each other very well as our 4 leaders go into the forest.
Yeah, it's not surprising to see those 4 lads get away. Obviously there's such class in that group. Paul Tanui, an Olympic silver medalist. So these are, you're talking seriously world-class athletes, so it's always going to be difficult for the calibre of the rest of the field to stay with them. There's 4 young Irishmen there running. Sean O'Leary now, the big tall lad with the reddish hair. Sean runs for Clonliffe. He's had a fantastic season, ran really well in the European Juniors there just before Christmas, and he's been one of the most improved athletes on the country this winter. So he's having a good run, as Cormac Dalton. I see Conor Duffy up there. I see Adam Kirk-Smith, better known probably as a steeplechaser. He's running there for Northern Ireland. And Liam Brady is in there as well. Liam is a fine cross-country runner on his day.
So it's these 4 who are out in front. And the men in orange are Richard Yeto wearing 10 and Paul Tanui wearing 9, the 2 Kenyans. But you have to praise Sam Stabler, who had some very good results in the United States when he was over at Lamar. He won the Stanford 5K there, as well as the big win in Armagh last year. And passing through wearing 38, Charlie Hulson of Wales leading that group, and you can just see that also in touch still as Mark Mckinstry, despite his fall at the end of the second lap as we go into lap 3 here.
So what you've got now is you've got the 4 leaders, and then you've Samuel Stabler kind of isolated on his own there. He's hunted, and he's hunting, and he's being hunted, and the pack behind would be looking at him as their salvation. They would feel that they can get up to him. Samuel has to start thinking that he can get up to the Africans, a tall order of course, but Samuel has to stay focused on what he's trying to do there, because the last thing he wants is that pack behind him to take him up. It's like a cycling race when the pack zooms up and you you're in trouble. But Samuel is running really well, really strongly, seems to be relishing the hills, and watch the way these Africans flow down there. Isn't it so natural to them?
Yeah, Tanui leading. He's been here before with those fine triumphs at a global level. Sam Stabler looking quite stable in 5th position. He's eligible for the British Cross Challenge, not the home countries championship, because he's not running for one of the home countries. But these are Alex Chewton, Jack Gray, Phil Norman. And looked like James Hunt was up there for Wales as well. There he is wearing 40, James Hunt. Alongside him, 35, Alistair Hay for Scotland. But how well Mark Mckinstry has done despite that very early mishap. He's still up there trying to get a top 20 and maybe a top 10 finish, and leading that Irish contingent, Liam Brady, wearing number 28.
Yeah, Liam is the senior citizen among those green vests there. He's older than the other lads who are under 23, and he is very strong. He's been an Irish senior cross-country international a few times, former Irish junior cross-country champion. Very fine athlete. You would expect him to be of those green vests, you would expect Liam to be the first man home. Samuel, he's hanging on there, great. The pack behind him, the English boys, they're kind of breaking up, so they don't seem to be pulling him in.
And wearing the Barcelona singlet, he is based there, and they do have an athletics program also. Ibrahim Eziduni, he finished 3rd in a 10k in Barcelona New Year's Eve at the Cursa del Nasus. But the leading 4, and they are well clear here in the final 2 laps. Richard Yater has also won bronze at the under-20s in the World Cross Country Championships. Berhanu Balu of Bahrain won in the Diamond League last year in Shanghai and Lausanne, and that gold in Jakarta at the Asian Games as they pass by the lake. So they only going up this hill for the penultimate time. And they are beginning to lap quite a few of the rest of the field here.
Yater and Tanui seem to be kind of working together to try to break the other two, because if Yater's not leading, then Tanui is. Balu is keeping his powder dry, so he must be confident of his kick. These guys probably raced against each other on the circuit. They know who can kick. They know what they have to do to try and shake off the kicker.
So next up, it's Gray wearing 23. Alongside him wearing 38, Charlie Hulson for Wales. Phil Norman up there, Alex Chewton also. But these are the 4 that have to be beaten, and nobody looks like they are going to beat them now. Paul Tanui still out in front as Kenyan teammate Richard Yater right alongside. Balu wide on the left of your picture, and at the back of it all, Chala Bayo. They're both Ethiopian by birth. Balu representing Bahrain now. 5,000 metres finalist of the Olympic Games in Rio. But Sam Stabler is not giving up yet. In 5th place, looking comfortable. Charlie Hulson was in the red singlet for Wales, and Alex Chewton in the white for England.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. Yater and Tanui are trying to do a job on the 2 boys, but they're not doing it in a convincing fashion. They're leading and they're alternating in the lead, but neither of them has made a really tough surge that would, question what's left of Balu and Bayo. And when it comes down to a sprint, Ethiopia usually beats Kenya.
Well, we're in the final lap now, so they're going up this hill. It's got a real sting to it for the final time. And Berhanu Balu, the 22-year-old, representing Bahrain, going out in front, ahead of Tanui in 2nd, Yater in 3rd, Bayo in 4th. On the descent, further athletes being lapped who are knocking around 50th position right now. A lot of the local club runners have been moved into another race this year. But look at how impressive Yater and Tanui have put the acceleration on again, because they know that Balu has got that track speed. Tanui has had it recently too.
Yeah, it's like they're almost afraid just to make that ultimate move.
Balu, with 400 metres to go, hits the front for Bahrain. Tanui has fallen back. Yater is in 2nd position at the moment. Beitu is in 3rd. That small final ascent, quite short, but there will be a sting to it. There's no doubt about it. But Balu has got the speed going here. They were turning to the right in the regular lap, but now it's the final straight home And Berhanu Balu, the Asian Games champion in Jakarta back in September, is going to win in Northern Ireland for the first time. He takes the victory in Dundonald. A fine win for Berhanu Balu for Bahrain. Richard Yater is second for Kenya. Chalabeyu third for Ethiopia. And Paul Tanui takes fourth for Kenya, the Olympic 10,000 metres and World Cross Country silver medalist. And how about this for Sam Stabler for Leicester? For Rekansor Valley-AC, he's in fifth, and he takes the British Athletics Cross Challenge. Charlie Hulson in sixth for Wales will be the Celtic champion and the home country's champion. Alex Chewton in seventh position for England, second in that category. He's third in the cross challenge. Hulson was second in the cross challenge. Jack Gray in eighth, and crossing the line here in ninth, Phil Norman for England. But here's our winner, Berhanu Balu.
Yeah, he looked a winner all the way, really. When the two Kenyans couldn't get to grips with making a serious move on him, he was always cantering around there on their shoulders. And of course, when it came to the sprint, he had that decisive move. Now here's Mark Mckinstry. Brilliant run by Mark, particularly when you take into account what happened to him early on with the fall, finishing 13th overall. Great improvement. There's Liam Brady leading home the green vests. Sean O'Leary there, Paul O'Donnell, Cormac Dalton.
And James Hunt coming through for Wales as well. For Mark Mckinstry, the top Irishman, in 13th place. Victory for Berhanu Balu of Bahrain by 4 seconds over Kenya's Richard Yater. Chalabeyu in third, Paul Tanui fourth, Sam Stabler fifth. Balu with a well-earned prize.
Today and good race, and next year. Today in world champion in thank you. Maybe.
Yeah, I'm quite excited. I probably was a bit naive in going off with the Africans. After the first lap, I started to feel it a little bit, but it was just a case of maintaining the gap and saving a little bit for the end just in case they came back, and just lucky enough to hold on today.
And a good advantage in terms of the British competition today, quite a margin.
I'm not sure what the distance was in the end, but I can see my rivals taking photos of me now, so a bit of fun. But yeah, it's good. It was a good race, and it's nice to have a good competition behind to get in front of at the end.
And a welcome peak to the cross-country season for you also, I'm sure.
Yeah, it's my first cross-country race this season, so I'm hoping to do the World Cross Trials. So I suppose that puts me in good stead, having I think beat one or two other people from European Cross this year. So hopefully that'll help out.
It's a tough one, yeah. There's a lot of hills. I was actually told it was flat but no, it's really hilly. Good to see a real cross-country course, because a lot of them these days aren't like that. But yeah, really good course, really nice, well set out.
That hill had quite a bite, I'm sure, the fifth time you were going up it.
That's it, yeah, that's it. 5 times on that isn't recommended, to be honest.
But starts 2019 off very, very well, and obviously it's a World and a European Championship year. What's the focus on for you?
Yeah, so I'll just get my head down now, get a good block of training in. Hopefully look at going to World Cross if they take a team. So I'll get ready for the trials with that, and then I'll be training for the track then. So yeah.
And you finished a place ahead of Alex Chewton, and you've ended up on the podium as well, which is always a fruitful achievement.
For sure, yes. Particularly as this is our first race back since I've succumbed to a sort of slight problem with some tendons in my foot. So yeah, delighted to sort of show some form early doors for the rest of the season.
And how do you come back from problems like that? Not a severe injury, but still difficult enough to interrupt your momentum.
Yeah, you're right. As you say, I wouldn't consider it an injury. It's more like a niggle, but it's, at the top level, these guys, we're all putting in such hard work that even sort of missing a week of training can have a big impact. So I was fortunate. I was able to do a lot of cross training at the gym and things, and sort of keep my sort of relative fitness up. So it was a little bit sort of odd, sort of getting back onto the running, and really, obviously, particularly with the terrain being very mixed. So that did have an impact, but there's sort of plenty of time before sort of the major events later in March to actually just to show a bit more form and hopefully find some consistent training before then.
Mark, a good start to the race there. You were right up with them, and then there was a bit of an issue there.
Yeah, just at the end of the first lap, I slipped just in a bend down there, and I knew I wasn't going to stay with them for too long, but I just wanted to test myself. And the first lap I actually felt easy. I was surprised how easy it felt, but I kind of knew it would get tougher. And then once I had that fall, I lost 15 yards, and I was trying to kind of make ground up after that. But I managed to still have a solid run, so happy enough.
As a course, how did you find it with those like slight slopes that go up? It sort of makes it a bit more difficult.
It's a tough, it's more like it's my type of course. It's a proper cross-country course, and I've done the Comber Cup here a few times, so I always had a wee bit of an advantage of knowing what the course was. But today I thought it would have been muddier than it actually was. It was just a wee bit soft, and there are a lot of long, steady drags. There's no steep hills, but it's still a tough course to run on.
The combined boys under 20 and under 17 race, the IAAF junior race, but there's also Celtic and home country's international interest in this. A very, very large field, lots of green Irish singlets in this, with Welsh, Scottish and English interest very much to the fore too.
Yeah, this promises to be very competitive today. We've got the Celtic International within it. So we have a good sprinkling of vests there, as you can see, the Scots, the Irish, the Welsh, Northern Ireland. Clonliffe Harriers are here in strength. Clonliffe Harriers are Ireland's representatives in the European clubs, champion clubs, cross-country championship in 2 weeks' time. So they're the national junior champions, so they're using this as an important part of their build-up. And they have a serious contender for the race today, Ephraim Gidey. Originally from Eritrea, but living in Ireland the last couple of years, and he's hooked up with Clonliffe, and he's the All-Ireland Schools cross-country champion, and he's in there with some other very good Irish boys, notably Keelan Kilrahel, Paul Hartnett, two lads who've been running really well. And we have a lot of very good juniors in Ireland at the moment, and in the European Junior Championships there just before Christmas, the boys gave a very good account of themselves. They were 5th in the team race, and so we are building a good squad of juniors there again, and I think the evidence might come out in this race here today.
Well, those who have blue numbers on their singlets there in the under-20 competition, and those who have the usual white numbers are competing in the under-17.
Keep an eye out there for number 856, Zakaria Muhammad from England. He's a very fine athlete. I think he's an English schools champion as well, but he's also run 8:28 for 3,000, which is very good running at that age, and he looks to be a man in form there. And the white vests of England, they're well sprinkled in there.
Also passing through, wearing 631, Sean Mckinley for Northern Ireland. He's in the under-17 competition, but you can see Zach Muhammad of Southampton AC moving out towards the front. Quite a number of English vests up there. Muhammad is 8.56, Ben West is 8.59 from Bicester, finishing the top 10 in the English cross-country championships. Zach Muhammad, whose older brother Muhammad is also a national champion. Zach won last week in the One Muguerza international event in the Basque Country in Elgabar in Spain. He's also the Southeast Schools champion. A very, very fine prospect.
Good depth in that field there, but there is the mix of age groups between under 20 and under 17, so you've got to take that into account. The English have a couple of very good under 17s as well, who would probably be up around top 10, top 15. Matthew Mackay from Rossendale Harriers is a very good athlete, and Nicholas Halashkash, that's a difficult name to get your head around. He's from Cambridge and Coleridge AC, but he's in there as well.
It's a good lead being opened up now by Zach Muhammad from Southampton AC. English schools and CAU inter-counties champion as well. Ben West of England, Connor Bentley of England, doing their best to keep up with their international teammate, but it is a very, very impressive lead that has been opened up by Zach Muhammad. Very good course this is, a real tester, and you can see the Clonliffe colours of Ephraim Gidey, originally from Eritrea. Won the 5,000 metres in the Leinster Championships last year by lapping the entire field. Absolutely astonishing.
Yeah, and he's had very good road form lately. He won the Tom Brennan New Year's Day 5k road race, beating all seniors. and he also won the Clonliffe Christmas Cracker a few days before that, so he's running well under 15 minutes for 5k, which is very good running particularly by a junior, and he's attached himself there to that group there just off Zach Muhammad, group of three or four there, and Ephraim is in there, as well as Keelan Kilrahil, who has pulled himself close to the leaders as well. So this looks very, very encouraging.
Well, Zach Muhammad is in the lead, and in second place that looks like Ephraim Gidey for Clonliffe Harriers. This would be fantastic for the Irish Schools cross-country champion if he can pull it off.
So there's third, fourth, fifth, and in sixth place there Keelan Kilrahil is hauling himself into contention.
Matthew Mackay of Rossendale Harriers in the blue. And this is Cameron Wright of the Scottish under-20 team, just in front of Paul Hartnett of the Irish under-20 development team, and also the under-17 Bs. Major step up for him. And Nicholas Harhalakis of Cambridge and Coleridge in the white.
880 there, Nathan Jones.
Been gone too long. And the lead is getting all the greater. An international victory last week. There's been a major problem here for one of the, looks like Northern Ireland athletes. Micheál McCall looks to have gone out of it, but Zach Muhammad is way out in front and in a class of his own at the moment. His lead is around, well, I would say around 5 or 6 seconds over Ephraim Gidey, who looks like he is really improving. 2 weekends in a row, he's going to get major international triumphs unless Ephraim Gidey of Clonliffe, not yet able to represent Ireland internationally, can come through and get the victory.
Yeah, and looking at Keelan Kilrahil, he came storming down that hill there. He's getting right into contention. This is really good performance by the Irish lads. They're great to see them in there mixing it with the very highly ranked English company that they're in there now. This can only do them good.
It's Zach Muhammad way out in front and in a class of his own. He's going to win the IAAF junior men's race by a long way. Looks to have decelerated a little bit. The main race is for second. And what a race it is, because it's Sligo's Keelan Kilrahil for Ireland, who's in second at the moment, ahead of England's Ben West. Muhammad is on the way to win, there's no doubt about that. But what about the race for second? Here goes West up the hill. West looks like he's going to take second. It'll be a 1-2 for England. Kilrahil did so well, but Zach Muhammad wins it. Ben West in second, and Keelan Kilrahil is in third and takes the Celtic gold from Gidey. For Clonliffe Harriers is in fourth. Joshua Lay fifth for England. Conor Bentley in sixth. And now here comes the under-17 winner for Rossendale Harriers in the blue. Matthew Mackay, 7th overall, takes the under-17 title. Paul Hartnett is 7th in the men's under-20 race for Ireland, ahead of Paul Elliott and Cameron Wright, both of Scotland. Dennis Nicholas Harhalakis of Cambridge and Coleridge, who's second in the under-17s. Hamish Hickey in for Scotland, Shane McAvoy for Ireland, and Scott Fagan of Metro St Bridget's and Luttrellstown Community College in to take third place in the under-17s for Ireland. Junior gold for Zach Muhammad, silver to Ben West, and bronze for Keelan Kilrahil, the Celtic champion, ahead of Paul Hartnett and Kane Elliott. Under-17 victory to Matthew Mackay with Nicholas Harhalakis second, and Celtic champion Scott Fagan third. The Celtic silver to Jack Patton, Dean Casey the bronze.
I felt good the last, the first lap, just checking the course, see if it was like sort out where I should kick or where I should stay with them. But second laps, I just felt good, kicked it from there on, just stick to my plans and go for it.
How did you find the course?
The course is nice, I like it, I love it. Of course, a little bit hilly, but it suits me, so I enjoy it. It's a nice course.
You've got a very smooth running style. I was watching you out there. You just seem to be, staying within yourself the whole time.
Yeah. That's what my coach told me. Just nice and relax, go for it. So listen to my coach, practice in training. It's good. When I raced last week, I get more big experience now. Got more experience and came here, take the win, move on.
Plans for the rest of the cross-country season, obviously, but then looking further ahead towards the track.
For the track season, World Championship. That's the aim this year. But I was gonna make it to the Euro, so it didn't happen. So World Champ, that's the main thing.
It'll be a little bit different running in Doha to what it is running in these conditions here.
Yeah, it's gonna be different. You know, loads of people gonna be there, a lot of things. So it'll be good. You know, first World Championship. If I get into the teams, I'll get more experience and hopefully take on experience from there.
Yeah, delighted with that. Hadn't the best results the last few months, so it's nice to get a positive one.
There were some very good athletes out there, and there were some people who went out very quick. When everyone went out, what did you think, and what was your plan?
I kind of went out I didn't really go near the front because it was hard at the start. It's very tight and trying to get out, and I think I was 6 going into the last half and just started picking lads off really towards the end.
Just give us an idea, because for the people who are watching it and they see that everyone's in a big group out in the middle there, how difficult is it if you're stuck in the middle to get yourself out into a good position?
Oh, it's wild. It nearly felt like a track race at times, like it was so tight and lads getting kicked. I've cuts all over my legs and everything, but no, it's cross country, I suppose, and you have to get used to that.
And it probably makes it a little bit more difficult because it's on the muddy surface and you're not on the track, because it makes it, there's a chance to slip over there.
Oh, it's definitely not a help, but 2 or 3 lads fell in my race alone, and yeah, it's not easy, in fairness.
And just give us an idea of how you feel, because this is obviously the biggest performance of your career to date.
Yeah, exactly. It's up there with any of them, and delighted with it, and hopefully kick on now the next few months.
Pretty tired, and it's getting a bit cold now, but I feel happy with the win with that. But yeah, thank you.
There's a couple of little slopes up there, which when you come around, especially for the third lap, might just get the legs a bit. How'd that feel?
Yeah, it's especially slippery around the corner around there where it gets quite boggy. But yeah, coming down, it's especially after the third time, your legs start to feel it, especially on the uphill as well. And then to put a fast finish in is a really tough challenge.
Nicholas, it was a very fast first lap, I thought, from everyone out there. Do you think it took a bit out of people's legs?
Yeah, I think so. I didn't go off that hard, and I sort of came past people in the following laps. So yeah, it was quite hard.
What was your plan then for the race if you weren't going out that hard?
I just wanted to go easy on the first lap and sort of come through as the race went on, which I sort of managed to do, so I was pretty happy.
Scott, very happy. Saw you over there with the family before. Congratulations. How do you feel?
Really happy. I wasn't expecting that to do that good, but I have a tendency to go off quick, so I said, hold myself back, but as I did, I ended up going off quick, but I noticed, so I held myself back and then picked people off on the hills, but I'm over the moon with that.
Strike me as having a lot of energy. Did you have to hold yourself back a little bit?
Yeah, I've been pumped for this for a good few weeks, nearly months, so it was at the start, I felt myself, I was at the front, I was like, I needed to get back, but I'm over the moon with that, I couldn't be happier.
A look at other action in Dundonald. Traditionally, local club runners have competed in the full international races at the Northern Ireland Cross Country, but this year something new. A mixed race run over 2 laps, 4,000 metres of the Dundonald course, introduced as an added attraction, and a lot of local competitors plumping for this event. 4 athletes to the fore early on: David Mckinley of Newcastle AC in the red, Ben Morrow of Ballymena Runners in the blue, and 2 St Michael's Enniskillen teammates, Peter Bennett, and ahead of him, Oisin Cassidy. Just past the halfway point, McNeely and Bennett dropping back, eventually finishing 6th and 8th respectively. It would effectively be between a veteran and a novice, Morrow and Cassidy. Morrow making his big move in the final 1,000 metres to win in 13 minutes 52 seconds. Cassidy second, with Paul Carroll of Annandale Strikers third.
Yeah, it's a good course. I've ran here a few times before, so there's a good tough climb the whole way up the back, and then it's nice to get the descending around the back end. So I always find them quicker going down the hills than up, but it was good, yeah.
Claire McGuigan of Lifford Strabane taking the women's open event, clocking 15 minutes exactly. Only 12 of the 61 men in the competition will be faster than her. McGuigan enjoying a 25-second margin over Karen Wilton of Jog Lisburn Running Club. Helen McCready of Ross's third.
it was actually perfect running conditions today. You know, it's a wee bit cool, but suited us runners, like, so it did. And there was no real one factor on the course at all, so there wasn't.
Zoe Flower of Giffnock North taking the girls under 15 title, her team filling 5 of the first 7 places. Dylan McBride of Willowfield Harriers winning the boys under 15 crown. A triumph for Erin Levy of Dunleer AC in winning the girls under 13 gold. With Fergus Curry of Garscoob becoming boys under 13 champion. As usual, lots of interest in the Flahavans primary school races. The girls' title won by Emer McKee of Willowfield Harriers, ahead of Isa McCarran of Lagan Valley and Emer Cooney of Boyne AC. The boys' title going to Finley Main of Lockview AC, just ahead of Joseph O'Connor of St Joseph's and Luke O'Doherty of Mid-Ulster.
Well, it's been a top-class day of international athletics at both junior and senior level. The big 2 races at the end, the senior races for the women's and the men's. It was Meskeren Mamu of Ethiopia who took the victory in the closing stage, as well as the Asian 5,000 metres champion Bahanu Balu of Bahrain who claimed the victory in the men's event. There's been world-class talent on the show. There's also been talent for the future as well, which we've loved to see. It's been an outstanding event here in Dundonald. So for myself, Tulson Tollett, and the rest of the team, until next time, it's bye for now.